All right, everyone, welcome back to part 2 of a 2-part episode. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
The Idaho Business Podcast is sponsored by Dell's Outdoor Advertising. These guys are an institution when it comes to billboard advertising, traditionally or digital billboard advertising. They are represented from Pocatello all the way to Blackfoot, and they will tell you this is a great way, and I will tell you this is a great way to have top-of-mind awareness for your clients, your potential clients. There are some great things that still can be accomplished from billboards, even though we're in the Facebook and social media marketing, realms of the world right now. So if you contact Rob and you set up a 3-month deal to be on the billboard, he'll give you your installation for free, or your first month for free. Excuse me. And again, you can go to idahobusinesspodcast.com, click on their logo, their name, and find their information to get that deal rolling for yourself. And they are fantastic at it. So go see them today.
You want to make everybody happy. You want to make sure that you're not going to let someone down. But what I realize is that not only am I not the only welding shop around or the only fabricator, but there's options. So if you can say no, and this is the same scenario we talked about earlier, is sorry, I can't do this work, but I can suggest 2 other people that I would use in the same situation. Yeah. And it sucks because it's lost revenue to you.
Yeah.
But it is also you being human, you not having the resources, you not having the right amount of people. One of my foremen called me, actually my partner called me last night, and I told him about a job that we were just issued. They didn't ask for a bid. They just sent us a PO. And I'm like, what's this for? And I opened it up and I was like, oh my gosh. They want a ton of crap and they want it really quick. And it's stuff that we're having supply chain issues with. And I asked Dustin, I was like, well, this was a great revenue for us last time. We're their guys. But now I'm thinking, well, geez, can we suggest someone that could offer the same quality and get this project done within their timeline and not affect our scope? I can't go hire 5 guys tomorrow to do this job because it's a finite job. They're going to be done in 5 to 6 weeks. Yep. So I've got 5 more employees sitting around scratching their noses. Could I find work for them? Probably, but it's really hard to take into consideration, 1, the will to do good, 2, a valued customer, 3, your ego or pride. You might have to put all that stuff on the shelf and just really dig down. And what I challenge people to do in that situation, when something like you have to kind of talk yourself into something, the answer should probably be no.
Yeah.
And no with an asterisk. I mean, talk timeline, talk about, I don't have the time to get this done by February 30th. There's 30 days in February this year.
That's what I thought too.
So I can't get this done by March 1st, but I could get it done by March 30th. Is there 30 days in March? Holy cow. Yeah. I can get it done by March 30th. That might be okay. Yeah, no worries. We want to use you. And now you've said yes, but you bought yourself some time. Now you have some time to plan.
You set some realistic expectations.
Right. And you stay in contact with them through that gap in time, because maybe a job went sideways and now you're booked up. You should always have a contingency plan. So when the word no comes out of your mouth, that you at least have options, you
Yeah.
know, and maybe those options are unrealistic, but what I'll typically do is call my competitor and say, hey, we've got this job with so-and-so. It's a little outside of our ability right now. Is it something that you can do? What is your timeline? So at least I've vetted the options for saying no.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Billy can get her done by February 28th. He can meet your guideline. Don't know where he's at cost wise. I didn't share my numbers with him. And maybe you've lost a customer for life. And that's just the risk you take by saying no. But you're not going to overwork your guys. You're not going to open up the door for screw ups, because now you got guys working 7/12s trying to make up the difference because you've accepted a job you probably shouldn't have.
Yep.
I don't know. It's scary to when you plug emotions into things, and saying no triggers an emotion like, oh, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think that's something that's not talked about often enough. And that's
I like it. I like it because, you know, I think everyone should kind of have a niche of what they're, you know, really good at and what they're focused on, you know. And your focus might, you know, be X, Y, and Z, and then someone comes and asks you to do A, B, and C. You're not set up for that. You guys could do it, but it's going to take you a lot longer. It's going to require you a lot more out of you, and it's going to be more of a, you know, it could be more of a scheduling nightmare, like you mentioned. And it's just better if you just stick with the niche that you know, and that's I think that's huge, because I think so many people try to be everything to everyone.
right.
And I don't feel like that's a healthy way to be running a company.
No. And it's nice to feel that way, I guess. And out of the gate, when we started Fusion in 2017, I didn't utter the words no for the first
Oh yeah,
year.
I think that's how any new business
You
is.
know?
They go balls to the wall.
You want me to do what? Yeah, we'll figure it out. But that's what I've always been in my corporate world. And you know, in my previous career, was a problem solver.
Yeah.
So I would take an unlikely situation and make it likely and profitable. And when it's my own company and me and the other owner are scratching our heads on something, and I've already said yes, it's like, how are we going to figure this out? You know, but you know, again, it just goes into seeking counsel, you know, and it might, you know, you and I bounce stuff off of each other often, and you know little about what I actually do, other than the fact that I glue metal together, right? But having the perspective of other eyes, that other person doesn't have to be within your craft skill set. It's just present a situation and see what somebody else that you trust and know would guide you the right direction. I mean, that in itself, I mean, I think is a big step in the right direction to ensure that you're not going to go down the wrong path. So
Yep, I can think of one instance that had a big job come our way, and I'm like, man, this could be a game changer this year for us. You know, it's a bunch of revenue, and I'm like, oh, I've done something similar before. I could knock this one out of the park. And I remember talking about it with my consultant. He's like, dude, this is out of your, you know, your niche. This is what you don't really want to be doing, that kind of stuff. Like, we've talked about that, but make your decision, make your own decision.
yeah,
You know, needless to say, I went ahead with it. It was the scope of the work was changed in the middle of it, and there's no way there was no way my small company could get out of it. And I lost thousands of dollars. And I remember like tucking my tail between my legs and going back and to tell him what happened. He's like, this is one of those situations I wish I didn't have to say I told you so, and I don't want to even say it now. But yeah, it put me in a bad place. You know, I had to get some temporary loans to be able to just bridge the gap to continue to run the company, you know. So that's one of those situations where a no would have saved me a lot of headache, you know.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I built my company on being the guys that kind of save the day. You know, we may not be the most well outfitted shop. We don't have brakes and shears and all this other stuff, but when something falls apart, we can generally get there pretty quick and save the day. And what that has turned into is these relationships that they don't want to use anybody else. They want to use us, but
Yeah.
I've had to say no just because I'm just not set up for it. And then when I'm having some quiet time with myself, drinking a cup of tea or whatever, I'm thinking, well, I wanted to buy this and this would make it so I could get that job done. And I start dreaming up ways that I can not let my customer down. But and what it's going to cost me is, potential relationship breaking, production, or however you want to word it. But if you think that you have to start talking yourself into a decision, I think you should reflect back and say, okay, this is not the right choice for me.
Yeah. I like to think sometimes we think business owners, it's so much about revenue for us.
Mhm.
And business owners, most of us, I would say, look at the top line revenue. We're excited by that. We're impressed by that. But really, it comes down to the bottom line revenue. What are you actually putting in your pocket? And it should be more of understanding, what that job is going to involve, and is it going to actually add value to the customer that you're trying to serve. If you can't honestly say what you can offer is going to add value to them, that should be your answer. Like, no, I'm not set up to do this at this time, so I'm not going to be able to. It's not going to be the best value add for that customer at this time.
Right.
So it's
and revenue, I think, and I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Revenue, I think, runs in parallel with relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Both are words that are critical in our world. And sometimes you'll lose revenue to maintain a relationship. I guarantee every business owner has done that. Like, well, maybe I can make it up on the next job. And hopefully you do, but just saying no could eliminate a lot of that fog, a lot of that, the unknowns that could jump out and bite you. And I can think of hundreds of examples where, as clear and concise I thought I was being, I was more excited to get the work, and I missed a couple of things that ended up costing me my profitability.
Yeah.
And a great deal of my sanity. It's how much stress are you willing to endure to make someone happy when if you say no, they're just going to go to the next guy.
Yeah, exactly.
There's plenty of work out there for us, and it's and one company can't do all of it.
Yep, I agree.
But I do think that you should make your competitors maybe not your friends, but at least be able to lean on each other.
Sure.
Great example. One of my foremen called and said he went into this welding shop in Wyoming somewhere, and it was awesome. He's like, these guys got it together. And he's like, I wonder why they do this. I wonder why they do that. And I'm like, ask. Don't be afraid to be the dude that wants to learn more.
Sure.
And looking in the mirror, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I am at least cordial with all of my competitors. There's some that I'd rather do business with over others, but I mean, I think every local welding shop in this town has helped me at some point in time get through an issue.
That's awesome.
And I think that those are the people you want to push those no's to, like, hey, I know you've got a 70-ton crane. I don't. What about looking at this job? And then maybe they call you the next time they need help.
Yeah.
I'm a small niche shop. I do awesome stuff, not on a big scale. So if one of the other bigger companies fall into something that they're like, maybe we'll have Fusion do this part of this job. I mean, it's just the give and take. I mean, it's invaluable. And when it comes down to again, ego, I think we're all a little bit egotistical, or maybe pride's a better word. But we don't want to turn anything down. We don't want to have to hand something off to someone else, even
Yeah.
if we are capable.
Yep.
But doing so, I think, kind of greases the bearing a little bit on working well in our area. And I don't know. Maybe I have a different perception, but I think it's important to at least be cordial with your local competitors.
Yep.
And that may not work for some people in some industries, but I think it's okay to ask for help. And that kind of tees off of the whole no thing. It sucks to say no, and it sucks to ask for help. You know,
Yep.
we're proud beings. We want to make sure that we don't show weakness.
Oh, I agree. And there's times you say no to a customer because maybe they have unrealistic expectations, or you just feel like, man, maybe they're not a core values match. You know, sometimes it's that you just don't get along. You just don't see eye to eye. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's better just to say no, because no matter what you do, you can't make them fully happy.
Yeah.
And that's something too that it'll save you a lot of heartache and a lot of stress waking up every morning. What's going to come down the pipe today from this person or for this company? You know, like, oh, you clench your butt cheeks a little tighter that every morning. You know.
Or you see their name come up on your phone and you're like, ah,
Yeah. What did they forget? What did we forget today? You know. So sometimes it's better just to say, hey, we can't apparently make you happy. Like, I want you to be happy. Like, I don't, that's the name of the game here. So
yeah, knowing when to call it
I
good
agree.
is another thing too. I mean, maybe you can get through the job, but you're going to be unsatisfied. They're going to be unsatisfied. And really, it's just going to cost you a lot of headache when you probably pressed reset and moved on to something else.
Yeah.
And eliminated headache on both sides.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer, man, if you're working hard and you're doing everything you can do, you know, when the one door closes, other doors open, you know, and the revenue's replaced, happiness can come back into your life again. And it's huge. So
Our ability, or well, how was I going to say that? Our willingness or our want or desire to create happiness is, I mean, it will trump logic a lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I just want to keep them happy. I've tripped over dollars to pick up dimes. And
Yeah.
and when you're doing it, you don't realize it until afterwards, and you're sitting down with your staff and you're going like, wow, we really crapped the bed on that project. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, you kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and you know, whatever.
Yeah. Or a profitable job that you think you're going to go do with maybe a difficult client, or maybe just not a match together as a company and client. You think it's going to make all this money, and then you realize, wow, I didn't make hardly any money, because it's harder to make these guys happy. It's harder to, you know, it goes back to setting realistic expectations. But even when you set realistic expectations, if you still don't see eye to eye, that's when you have to say, hey, number one, the money's not there that I thought was going to be there. I'm putting so much more time and effort into one client, and I think it's just time to break ways, you know, and just to find happiness in other companies sometimes. So I think that's huge.
No, I get it. Sometimes it's the person you put in contact with them. I know you got a big team. I have a team, and there's been a couple of projects where I was, you know, fairly aligned with this dude's personality. We're both, I don't even know how to explain it, but we bumped heads on about everything we did. It's not that we were setting different expectations or had a different idea. We just had different paths to get to the final product. And I didn't speak his language. He didn't speak my language. So I put one of my foremen in contact with him, and they immediately got along. They're both trappers. They're both hunters, and they both could, you know, that bond that they made the project a success.
That's interesting.
And now the owner of that company doesn't ever call me unless he says, hey, got another job for you to bid. And that is that's another thing that you have to take a step back and look at and say, maybe I'm the wrong piece of this puzzle.
Yep.
Putting
I agree.
somebody else in front of that person can salvage the relationship to get the project done.
No, I
Or
agree.
it's just one of those situations. It's just not going to work because the expectations aren't in line, or the expectations are not realistic.
No, I totally understand that, man. That's awesome. That's a good point of view there. So, well, I know I've kept you on the on the line long enough today, and we'll have to definitely turn this into a two-parter. So this is the end of the second part. But man, Scott, I appreciate you coming on the show again today. What would be, is there one takeaway you would tell, you give advice to our audience today, besides what we've already talked about? Is there one?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from this is really just before you go and ruin somebody's day with, chastising them or telling them how bad they screwed up, look in the mirror first.
Yeah.
And that eat some crow. You might have to eat a little bit of crow and understand that you did not give them the tools to be successful.
Sure.
And it's a battle. It's easy to just jump down somebody's throat and say, you screwed up. If they value their job, they're probably not going to jump back down your throat and say, no, your prints were wrong, or no, you give me a screwdriver and I needed a wrench. So take their input first. And like you said, step away, cool down. And we're passionate about what we do. So it hurts when something doesn't go right.
Yeah.
So once emotions flare up, it's time to exit stage right, clear your head, and then ask yourself, did I give them the tools to be successful? Did they have the right tools for the job? And
I
then
like it.
when you do sit down with them, ask them, what contributed to this mess up? What contributed to this? What could we have done better as a company? And if they just throw their hands in the air and say, man, I screwed up, I read it wrong. Okay. Do you need additional training?
Yeah.
Do you not understand the blueprint? Do you not understand the tool? Do you not understand the end game? Because valuable employees are only as valuable as the effort you put into building them to be better, right?
Yep.
I tell my guys every day, continuous improvement. That is the most important thing.
Yep.
I promise you they can do the best job on something in the shop and I can walk out there and tear it to pieces. It's not because I think they did a bad job. It's just because next time try this, or next time this look better. And that's just it. I just think that if somebody screwed up, and this falls into personal life too, not that we need to talk about personal lives, but it's the same thing. If you're mad at one of your family members or friends, look in the mirror. Maybe
that's true.
That's maybe you said something. So, but yeah, not to go on a tangent, but I really think that we could all learn from looking in the mirror a little bit more often when things don't go as planned.
Yeah, I agree.
Words.
I like it, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show again with us. I know you're a bud, and I can always count on you for some good content. So I'm sure the audience is going to get some good nuggets of information, and hopefully they can take it to heart and save them some heartache in the future. So
I hope so. And I'm readily available if anybody ever wants to talk.
That's right.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, cool, man.
Okay.
Well, thanks for your time. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. And everyone listening, thanks for joining in. If you want to sign up and be on the show, great. Take one of your favorite episodes and share it with your friends, your network, and let's keep this thing rolling and have fun. So until next time, guys, stay positive, stay happy, and have a great one. It's adios. The Idaho Business Podcast is sponsored by New Clean Commercial Cleaning. This is my company, guys. I'm telling you, I'm not just because I'm the owner, the creator of it, but we are a great company for servicing your janitorial needs, your carpet cleaning needs, your stripping wax needs, all your floor maintenance needs. We are there for you. Everything is backed up by the "We're Not Perfect" guarantee. And if it's pretty much if you call and we don't get a hold of you, you don't get a hold of us, we will call you back within an hour and fix the problem within 24 hours, or the cleaning's on us. So that is our promise to you. And if you call or go into the Idaho Business Podcast website, click on the New Clean logo and book a janitorial solution huddle with us and mention that you heard about us on the podcast, you'll get two free restroom floor cleanings for your office for free. Tile and grout in your restrooms will be sparkling clean. And that's the offer. Tell you, take us up on it. You won't regret it. There's no strings attached. So go see them today.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.